What's the dilly? This is your boy JG. This is the Punch Report. We are live. I'm gonna let some time pass, let some cats hop in here, but I'm not gonna wait too long. Tremendous weekend in boxing. The sport is alive and well, and amazing things are happening. And we got to break this down. We got to talk about it. The return of Deontay Wilder, the Bronze Bomber. He takes on Robert Helenius, that Saturday pay-per-view event. The card is dope. If you whining about pay-per-view prices, then don't buy it and shut the hell up. Alicia Baumgardner, Michaela Mayer. Can't wait for that fight. It's gonna be crazy. That UK card is dope. Shout out to Claressa Shields, Savannah Marshall. That goes down. We just gonna break it all down. We're gonna break all of this down. We really, really are, because it's a hell of a weekend for boxing, and I'm excited, and I'm in a great mood. So there's that also. We just want to wait a little bit longer. If you guys have joined the chat already, some of you have, be so kind, like, subscribe, hit that bell icon for notifications. We're going to let some time pass and let me know your thoughts and feelings. You see the title, you see the images, you see what it's going to be. I'm going to break down the technical aspects of all three of these fights in the stream, and then we'll get into it a little bit deeper. But let's let some time rock. I should probably throw some music on or something. I'll mess around and mess up the chat, though. All right, let's get into it. Without further ado, this weekend, as you guys know, Deontay, the Bronze Bomber Wilder, makes his return. He takes on Robert Helenius. Let's go. Shout out Brendan McDonald. How you doing? What's the dilly? We in here. You know, it's a big weekend. It's a big weekend for boxing. I haven't been on live in a minute, but we back in the building. So let's just talk about it. Deontay Wilder makes his return. Robert Helenius. A good fight, former sparring partner. It is a pay-per-view event. The undercard is pretty good. I'm excited about the Darrell Caleb Plant fight. But I wanted, before I even move any further, let's just continue to recap what the weekend looks like. You do have the all-ladies card in the UK. I actually don't even know the start time for that, but I need to get that information. But you have Claressa Shields, the self-proclaimed GWOAT, taking on Savannah Marshall. Only blemish, so to speak, on her record. She looks to avenge that and become, I believe, undisputed in 3 divisions. And then Michaela Mayer, Alicia Baumgardner. And I have a lot to say about that particular fight, just because, one, it's a good technical bout. 2, we've seen situations and scenarios where a good example of what I'm about to explain is this. Gennady Golovkin, Canelo Alvarez, the third bout. Canelo Alvarez, for whatever reason, maybe coming off a loss, wanted to do his part to ensure that the fight had enough buzz around it. He put on like fake beef. Oh, this guy's talking too much about me, Triple G, blah, 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 whatever the case may be. It wasn't believable. I didn't believe it. You need more people. It just was very forced, very fraudulent. It wasn't what anybody was really checking for. On the other side of the coin, when you see something legitimate, I think in the beginning, the build-up for the fight between Alicia Baumgardner and Michaela Mayer, I think the beef may have been one-sided, but a lot of time has passed. There's been a lot of interactions, a lot of interviews, a lot of face-to-faces. Shout out to the production team of building this fight by continuing to put these two women, these fantastic fighters, in the same room together, because we have reached a boiling point. If you guys have not seen the footage yet, please take the opportunity and check out the face-off that took place. I believe it was either today or yesterday. I saw the footage today. Top Rank has it up on their site. Shout Top Rank. And they get into a face-off where all the pretend shit goes away, all the fake beef goes away. They're legitimately not fans of one another. They probably respect each other, I imagine, as fighters, but there is no love lost. And so that's just a bit of a preview about what we're going to discuss with that particular video, or excuse me, with that particular fight. Because when I think about Wilder, Helenius, Savannah Marshall, Claressa Shields, I'm most excited for this fight right here. Michaela Mayer and Alicia Baumgader. So let's go back to the top. Deontay Wilder, Robert Helenius. The chat is definitely light right now, but if I ask the question, who has seen Robert Helenius fight, or who knows what of him and his fighting style, I would be curious and interested in what the response would be. Because I think if you're not spending a lot of time studying or consuming a lot of heavyweight boxing, you might be unfamiliar with a Robert Helenius. We all know who the Bronze Bomber is, Deontay Wilder, knocking everybody out. He had the trilogy with Tyson Fury, draw, knockout loss, knockout loss. That's a fascinating. Let's go. Shout out to my man, Big Red. Let's go. That's a fascinating fight to really think about. I mean, you could do a whole nother live stream about the trilogy between those two combatants, Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. But that's another conversation for another day. Shout out to Brenda McDonald. She said nothing. We don't know nothing about him. But if I give you a quick breakdown without video, and you just have to take my word for it, of a Robert Helenius, he has a great size, 6'6", 6'7". I would never call him a blazer by any stretch of the imagination. He has a good flow to his punches. His combinations are limited. He has a good 1-2. He has a good step back right hand. He measures distance well. He has a good 5, a lead uppercut. And he has slightly above average power. He's not destroying people, but he's the type of fighter, especially guys at heavyweight, that you don't want punching on you for any extended period of time. Adam Kalnacki is a fighter that he fought, beat, and then fought and disqualified himself for nut shots. But at the time, I think Kalnacki was undefeated, and I think Helenius had 3 losses, most recently to Gerald Washington. He got knocked out. Then he lost a decision to Dillian White. In my opinion, that was questionable, and I don't know what his 3rd loss is. But anyway, we know Deontay Wilder, crazy power. A lot of the naysayers or critics would say that he has limited boxing skills and ability. Got into the sport late, but he has the God touch. He can get it from distance. He can get it from a corkscrew position where he is really contorting his body to get the right hand off, and can deliver power in a way that is unnerving and gets guys out of there. How does the fight play out? I have questions about Deontay Wilder right now. I'm not questioning who he is as a man or as a fighter, but getting knocked out brutally. I think the first fight, in my opinion, was worse, that particular knockout. The second knockout, I think, came the 10th, 11th round. They knocked each other down several times. Deontay Wilder definitely made some adjustments. I think him putting on the additional size was not to his advantage. And he fought valiantly. But ultimately, I think Tyson Fury's skill, coupled with the fact that he was much bigger than Wilder, and then the added additional weight that Wilder put on, the bulk, the muscle, for his frame, I don't think he has any business being over 220, 225 pounds. Yeah, he's going to be at a disadvantage from a size perspective because of that. However, the additional weight didn't help him. And I think he emptied his tank a little bit early on, but that's a testament to his power because he was still able to hurt Tyson Fury. But I digress. How do these two styles gel, so to speak? Robert Helenius, he has a good jab, free-flowing fighter, good 1-2, like I said before, good lead uppercut. Deontay Wilder is going to have to take his time. He's going to have to show more than he's typically shown. The 3rd Tyson Fury fight, I think he showed that, especially with the jab to the body and being more explosive and trying to mix it up. But I think you do get into a situation or scenario with a guy, Helenius, who has good momentum, in my opinion, coming into this fight, understands how big this opportunity is to face a guy like a Deontay Wilder, and understand, okay, cool, we know Tyson Fury was undefeated. He was already the lineal heavyweight champion, but we don't know a lot about a Robert Helenius. So for him, I feel like he's going to make that investment and saying, damn, Deontay Wilder, he's definitely a cash cow style guy, name known in America, has a great fan base. What does it look like if I go out and get a victory against a guy like a Deontay Wilder? If you're a Robert Helenius, what does that look like? I'm of the opinion that he's taking this fight extremely serious, and he's going out here to win and make a statement and put himself in a position to fight for belts. On the side for Deontay Wilder, we've seen Wilder come off losses. Now, one of the things that I do not appreciate about the sport of boxing, and this happens a lot to fighters that are not what some casuals would say aesthetically pleasing. Who doesn't want to watch someone get knocked out? And that's all Deontay Wilder has ever really done. But I feel like a lot of fans are not, and maybe I'm tripping. If I'm tripping, let me know. Shout out to Brenda. You know, real fighters have lost, and that's the reality of the situation. That's a position that Deontay Wilder's in now. But what I want to focus on is I don't think Deontay Wilder gets the appreciation that he gets. You have to get in there, especially in the heavyweight division, and everybody's bangers. Everybody has power. This is not 118. This is not 126 pounds, 130, you know, unless you're in a way, you know, everybody at the heavyweight division, you know, they crack. The human skull, you know, Deontay Wilder said the human head is not meant to be hit. And that reigns true, and it will reign true forever. So Deontay Wilder, when I think about him, you were coming from a position where you're recovering from getting stopped twice and once in a really brutal fashion, in my opinion. Who are you now and still today? We don't appreciate Deontay Wilder the way I think he should be appreciated. But it wasn't until that second loss to Tyson Fury we say, wow, this guy has 10, 11 heavyweight title defenses. I believe that's a record. He's knocked out everyone he's faced. He's even knocked out and dropped Tyson Fury. There hasn't been a man that's gotten in there, I believe, that hasn't been on the canvas in front of a Deontay Wilder. Will he still be that guy? That's my first question. Going back to my previous statement is, why do we wait so long to appreciate these guys that are a bit unorthodox? I think that question is more than fair. Why does he got to have blood coming out his ear and get slumped over on the rope looking crazy by Tyson Fury before we say, you know what? Maybe Deontay Wilder is good at fighting. Is it what you want? Is it the style that you like? Maybe, maybe not. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? And shout out to Brenda. Like me and Brenda, we just gonna chop it up. That's what we're gonna do. Shout out to Brenda. You know, her comment is he just neglected to become complete. You think about it like this. If you guys follow the NBA, you think about James White, basketball player out of Cincinnati, got drafted by the San Antonio Spurs. My man had crazy bounce. He can dunk from half court. If you're going to stand in front of him one-on-one, he's probably going to blow by you. But that's all he could do. He didn't develop a jumper, no defense, team concepts. None of those things existed. And I think you can say that. It's not excuse making for Deontay Wilder, but I think the thing that you run into, if you have a guy that starts boxing at the age of 17, becomes an Olympian, medals, gets a bronze, and he's punching people out of the ring, destroying human beings, giving Spilka seizures and these things, yeah, I can see where you would struggle to not be complete in your approach in the sport of boxing. I don't know what JD's and some of the other trainers that he's been with said, but they said, look, you have the touch of God. If we can give you good cardio and a decent jab and patience, you're probably going to knock a lot of people out. So we know fighting a guy like a Tyson Fury, you know, what was going to be the outcome. Tyson Fury's out of the picture now, though. He's a guy trying to, that being Wilder, renew his career and reestablish himself, and I think he can do it. I don't think he's going, if he fights patient, if he lets Helenius commit to his shots, and I don't want to say Wilder needs to become a counterpuncher, but Helenius is good at very, very, like I said, good 1-2, good concept of range. He knows how to fight. Deontay Wilder's not going to walk in here and blaze him, in my opinion, like he blazed Dominic Breazeale. And I think Dominic Breazeale was emotional. And you have to look at the fact that Deontay Wilder and Robert Helenius, they have history. He is an in and out of camp sparring partner. He's familiar with Wilder. These guys actually probably have a great relationship. And familiarity is one of the things, like, it makes it tricky. So, you know, we're getting ready to fight a real fight. We're getting ready to fight for money. We're putting on the small gloves, and we're putting on a show on pay-per-view. So that dynamic, damn, that's loud, my bad. That dynamic changes how these individuals approach the fight. But what I would say is this: no matter what happens, I've seen Wilder down 7 rounds to Luis Ortiz. I've seen Wilder down to really multiple fighters. If you get touched with the right hand, it's over. Robert Helenius has been knocked out brutally, where his head was hanging off the back of rope. He got knocked out by Gerald Washington, and he was asleep. And the ref goes to him. The ref gets on a knee. He gets down on a knee. And he's like, "You good?" Because, his eyes were open. And he said, "Nah, I'm good." He actually tells the ref, "Nah, I don't want to get punched up anymore." And the fight, and the shot that dropped Robert Helenius, 2 straight right hands by Gerald Washington. But what I would say is Gerald Washington is probably a slightly more, if not significantly more technical boxer than a Deontay Wilder. But what I would also say is this. Every single combatant that Deontay Wilder has ever fought, all the way up until this point, has been a better boxer than Deontay Wilder. And it made no difference. Shout out to him. Shout out to Robert Helenius. I will give a bootleg prediction. I just seen this comment. If he had a head-snapping jab, he's a different fighter. His jab's not bad. I just don't think he commits enough of it forward. It's fast and it's powerful, but we know that jab you can have a riding the jab. Good case in point, Andre Ward. You're committing to the jab and you're landing the shot to hurt your opposition. 3 purposes of a jab: measure, distract, damage. Andre Ward executed all 3 of those perfectly. And you're right, he's lacking in that department. He has power in both hands. He actually has a pretty good left hook as well. But if he could be more deliberate with the jab, I'm throwing this strike for this purpose. And to your point, Brendan McDonald, shout out to you, you're not seeing that. At this point, also, I feel like Deontay Wilder is a fully formed fighter. I'm not saying he can't grow or develop, right? But are we really going to take a guy that's been in there and knocked out a bunch of people and is an Olympian and say, all right, today's the first day, we're working hand placement, footwork, and the purpose of the jab and how to execute that? I think that ship has sailed. We refine what we're good at, we become more fluid in our approach, and we start executing at a high level. That's how I think about a Deontay Wilder. Exactly. It's a little bit too late for that. But shout out to him. I'm buying the fights. I'm contemplating covering it, but that means I have to put another television in this room. But if you guys are interested, if you're watching the stream now, I'm thinking about covering the fight live, breaking it down round by round. If you come to the live stream after the fact, put that in your back pocket. I wish I could cover tomorrow's fights, because if you guys don't know, Savannah Marshall, Claressa Shields, Alicia Baumgardner, Michaela Mayer, I believe that airs tomorrow, and it's in the UK, so I think it's at a stupid-ass time. I won't even be at the crib, but I'll definitely cover it after the fact, so we can talk about it. But with that being said, let's move it right along. Claressa Shields, Savannah Marshall. It's a good fight. It's a dope fight. I'm going to get ahead of myself and say I fully expect Claressa Shields to go out here and box and win lopsided. So shout out to Savannah Marshall. She has good skills, good abilities. I probably think that for her class and division right now, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Shout out to Brenda. I think Savannah Marshall, she has good pop. They say she's has the most power in the division for the women, but I don't think that matters. I think that there was an interview that she did recently where she stated that she feels like if she wins this fight, it will be bittersweet, because it's great to win. You've already beaten her once. You'll be beating her for undisputed, all the belts, the inaugural Queen Elizabeth belt, and so then you say you recognize that in women's boxing, the top of the divisions, regardless of divisions, typically are top heavy, and so where you go after you beat a Claressa Shields, I don't like that sentiment for her. You need to be thinking about destroying Claressa Shields, making a fucking point, and then going out there and saying, whoever wants this work next, let's do this. But that's the position of a Claressa Shields, the self-proclaimed greatest woman of all time in boxing. You can't argue it. Fastest to undisputed, I believe. 2 division undisputed, and then working on a 3rd division, being undisputed. Who the hell needs to go plant-based? My man is reckless. Deontay Wilder, if he goes plant-based, he's getting knocked out. That's for anybody. Canelo Alvarez, all jokes aside, he wanted to do vegan and got worked over by Bivol. However, I do think that if he decided that he was going to do regular meat and clenbuterol beef from Mexico diet, he still would have lost to Dimitri Bivol. But Savannah Marshall, Claressa Shields, for me, how I look at it is like this. It's important for me that Claressa Shields goes out there and really just beats up Savannah Marshall. I don't want to shit talking. That's cool. That's great. Establish yourself as really one of the greats of all time inside of 20 fights. Claressa Shields has an opportunity to do that. She's already 2-time medalist for the U.S. A shit ton of belts and accolades, crossover into MMA, has success there. And I want to touch on that. Claressa Shields, if you ever see this video, I don't know if you'll ever see it. Maybe you'll know somebody that'll give it to you. You can win more fights at a high level in MMA if you just box people. You're getting in your head too much. You want to defend leg kicks, and I know these chicks want to come out here and wrestle you. You got good hips, defend the takedowns, be Chuck Liddell. If you don't know who he is, Google him, be him, you'll knock a bunch of women out. It'll be no problem. That's free game from your boy JG. Bivol is a beast. Bivol's not a game. Brendan McDonald, you see Bivol beating Zordo Ramirez? Let me know. Zordo really don't have defense like that, but he got crazy offense and good size. But let me know what you think. This is why I'm only going to cover this fight a little bit. Savannah Marshall has a puncher's chance. Shout out to her. Shout out to Fighting at Home. Shout out to that UK belt, the Queen Elizabeth joint. But the fight I really want to talk about, is this joint right here. This is the joint right here. Today was crazy. It's been a long time, probably, I'm trying to think the last time I saw a face-off and thought to myself, if this is the last 60, 70, 80 bucks I have, I'm spending it on this fight. Now, this fight is free, but Michaela Mayer, Alicia Baumgardner, they have come to the point where I fully believe that they do not care for each other and a fight is going to ensue. Now, let's get into the technical breakdown, the aspects of this particular bout. You have Michaela Mayer, a U.S. Olympian. She is a complete fighter, so to speak. She can box and she can fight. She can brawl. Where she's deficient at is her willingness to engage and throw combinations in the pocket. She's she is questionable defensively. You can see lesser opposition than Alicia Baumgardner find homes for shots on Michaela Mayer at a clip that is not appropriate for a fighter as talented offensively as she is. Alicia Baumgardner, lacking in size, so to speak, fast hands, good speed, good ring IQ. She's a physical freak. And I think that she has just as much polish, if not more, than Michaela Mayer. How do I see the fight playing out? Michaela Mayer needs to. What fight? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? This one right here. It's on Sky Sports. I don't know if I wonder if DAZN's carrying it. Damn, I got to look into that. I wonder if DAZN's carrying that. Should I just Google it real quick? Hold up. Let's take a gander. Sky, hold up. Accept. O2 Arena is Saturday. Okay, so Saturday, Sky Sports. It's just saying Sky Sports. So how would you cop that? How would you watch in the US? I gotta turn that shit off. Anyway, I have to put something in there, but unless somebody knows. Anyway, I have to put something in there. But Michaela Mayer, Alicia Baumgardner. It can't be. It's not DAZN. It would make sense if it was, but Sky Sports typically doesn't partner with DAZN. They be beefing sometimes. It's really saying just Sky Sports live stream where. That's crazy. Yeah, it looks like it's exclusive to Sky Sports. O2 Arena, 20,000 capacity. Yeah, that's crazy. Anyway, I digress. Shout out to y'all. Anyway, hands or a sharper jab, and she could keep Baumgartner on the outside. She would have an opportunity to win the fight. But Baumgartner stays nice and narrow, disciplined hands, nice approach, and she's defensively sound. And she doesn't. Oh shit! Froze up. Still frozen. Hold up. We still froze. Says I'm froze up, but we look good on my end. But anyway, yeah, it looks like I'm a little bit froze up. Came back. All right, cool. But yeah, essentially all I'm saying is this. The defensive responsibility of Alicia Baumgartner, in my opinion, carries the day in what I look at as a great fight for the sport of women's boxing and boxing in general. Whether it was on purpose or not, these ladies have done a great job building this fight up. And I think it's weekends like this. Appreciate you. Thank you. I think it's weekends like this that continue to give faith to the individuals who want to hang on to the sport of boxing. I love the sport of boxing. It's what I came up in. It's what I grew in. It's my first discipline that I've ever participated in. So I'm always going to be here. But, it does get tricky. Obviously, without even getting crazy about what's going on, we know that the Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford shit has carried on way too long. I don't want to say that I'm losing faith, but I think I might be losing a little bit of faith on the probability of that fight. And honestly, if it happens next year, I want to see it. But I think right now was the time for that fight to happen. The November 19th date or early December or something like that. That was the time for that fight to happen. And now we're in this position where, we don't know. But this weekend, potential Tank Davis Ryan Garcia fight, those types of things are what move the boxing, the sport of boxing forward. What I would also say is this, and this is definitely taking a weird left turn. 140-pound division in the sport of boxing, men's. Teofimo Lopez is about to piss me off. Not because I'm a massive fan, but you can't fight a guy that nobody knows, whose name I can't remember right now off the top, then make an announcement in the ring and say, hey, don't give me none of these guys, these bums. It's embarrassing. It's a stain on the sport. Then you're fighting the number 18th guy in the world in Pedraza, who's been stopped and beat up by everybody good. Victor Postal, he fought Gary Anton Russell last, I believe. But anyway, Victor Postal is rated ahead of Pedraza at this point. That's who Teofimo Lopez is signed to fight. And we supposed to be checking for this dude. I'm good. I'm good. I really am good. But shout out to Regis Prograde and Cepeda. They're going to lock it up. That's number 1 versus number 4 at 140 pounds. That's a meaningful fight, a good fight. I think that we got to do it. Shout out to my man RG. Shout out to J3 Boxing. We got to keep moving. That's what we got to do. I appreciate the love. Regis Prograde, excited to see him back in there against Cepeda. I wish he was more active. Good fighter, young fighter, getting better. He recently put out some interviews, I believe. I don't want to misquote it, but he put out some interviews recently where he stated that he flirted with the idea of going to 147 pounds. I don't think he's a 47-pounder. He made the right decision to do cuts and nutrition outside of camp, regulate his weight in his body, and make a decision to say, hey, I can be a 40-pounder. I love him at 140. That division is definitely very, very alive. And him fighting Cepeda, I think, is meaningful, and it puts him in a position to really start vying for straps. Guys that we know stateside, and Regis Prograde is a beast. Thank you, and I agree with that 100%. The 15 minutes for Lopez is up. ESPN Top Rank, they did their thing. They had him beating up straight tomato cans, and I hate that terminology. I don't want to call any prize fighter a professional guy that's going to go in there, cut weight, be away from his family, do those types of things. those types of things, a tomato can. But Teofimo was fighting tomato cans. He had the Lomachenko victory, which was a weird ass fight. Another conversation for another day. Then he gets lumped up by George Kambosos. I forgot about Kambosos Haney. Kambosos Haney is coming up. I did a video. This shit must have been in April. The day they announced the fight for Kambosos Haney, I did a video that day. Very short breakdown, like 8-9 minutes that video is. But what I said was this: Kambosos Haney is not competitive. I said that then. I said Devin Haney should get property in Australia because I understood the dynamics of the contract. Fight, if you win, you got to fight again. Melbourne, Australia, Marvel Stadium. I said, if I'm Devin Haney, I'm buying property out there because I'm going to be out there for 2 fights and then I'm going to end up fighting Lomachenko. That's what's going to happen. But, got you. But Devin Haney, George Kambosos. I only like this fight because it clears up any mess. This is a contractually obligated fight. The first fight went so poorly for Kambosos. Even in the commentary, Joe Tessitore, and I believe it was Andre Ward who were on the call, they were saying, I don't know if I need to see another 12, 8, however many rounds it goes of George Kambosos fighting Devin Haney. And I agree with that sentiment wholeheartedly. Why do we need to see that shit again? My thing is this, and I've said this before in a previous live. When you think about breaking down George Kambosos, Devin Haney from a technical perspective, Devin Haney, far superior athlete, far superior boxer. So that's going for him. The other side of it is this. Physically, he's more gifted than a George Kambosos. Typically, you kind of see like, maybe one guy's a better boxer, but the other guy may be bigger, stronger, better athlete. When you have all of the key components of what makes a tremendous fighter lean in one direction, why in the hell would you pick a George Kambosos, even fighting at home, to get it done against a Devin Haney, who is extraordinarily sharp, very, very fast. I think he has some defensive flaws, but none that I believe that Kambosos can capitalize on. And this fight sews up. Devin Haney's a man. He moves on from Australia and Kambosos, and we start thinking about really, really great fights at 140 pounds. Anyway, I'm not going to mention the name I just thought about, but Gervonta Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson moving up. We just talked about Teofimo Lopez. That list goes on and on for the guys at the top of that division that a guy like a Devin Haney can fight. And what's so great about Devin Haney is took short money, went overseas, deal's not in his favor, fighting in front of Kambosos' home crowd, and goes out there shorthanded a little bit, right? Dad got hung up, Cutman got hung up by Customs for Australia. He still goes out there and puts on a virtuoso performance. All of that's been eliminated. He's probably at this point far more relaxed and ready to go out there and perform and prove even more of a point. George Kambosos, you got to remember in that first fight, missed weight. He got on the scale. He was looking real bad. Just kind of like that doughy body a little bit. For a professional prize fighter, 140 pounds, you need to be abbed up or something like that, straight like that. You got to be abbed up. He wasn't in that position. He's not going to make that mistake again, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think that if he sells out more, because he did a really great job selling out when he fought Teofimo Lopez, dropping him, hurting him, answering. Anytime Teofimo mounted any offense against Kambosos, Kambosos was able to answer. This will not be the case with a Devin Haney. And if he sells out more, Devin Haney might not have the greatest pop in the world, but if you get caught slipping, throwing some wild shit, that's a possibility. That's something that could play out. That's something that can happen. But happy for the sport of boxing. A lot of great fights coming up. Like I said before, we are holding our breath, waiting for Errol Spence Jr., Terrence Bud Crawford. Will it get done? I want to be wrong, but I'm leaning towards no, not this year. And I feel like the fight does lose luster after that. That's just my opinion. I feel like the fight loses luster after that. But in the meantime, you have a tremendous weekend of fights. The return of Deontay Wilder, the Bronze Bomber, Robert Helenius, former sparring partner. Grudge match between Claressa Shields, Savannah Marshall. Claressa Shields' only blemish. A lot of shit talking, a lot of back and forth. I think Claressa Shields gets that done. Claressa Shields gets that done. More tools in the toolbox. Shout out to Savannah Marshall. Good pop, good power. We understand the women's boxing realm tends to be top heavy. These are two of the best. I think that Claressa Shields will cut above. And then the fight that I'm checking for the most, like I mentioned before, Alicia Baumgardner, Michaela Mayer. If you guys had not had the opportunity, go over the Top Ranks YouTube or Twitter or whatever the hell they got it. Look at the face-off. It gets ugly in a good way, and I have a deep appreciation for if you really don't like somebody, you let them know. But what we're not gonna do is front. We're not gonna play beef. Oh yeah, pal. Well, you're the mom. Like, no, none of that. No Triple G, no Canelo 3 bullshit. I think that Michaela Mayer hung on for as long as she could for operating in a space of professionalism. But after today, and Alicia Baumgardner was able to do her thing and push some buttons, she threw all that shit out the window and just started talking reckless. And they were talking reckless to each other, and it was some of the greatest shit I've ever seen. I am legitimately excited for this fight. But this is your boy JG. This has been the Punch Report. Please be so kind. If you're watching right now, like, subscribe, hit that bell icon notification so you can get the further live streams, see the fight breakdowns, and also get the shorts. If you're checking this stream out after the fact, consider subscribing. Let me know what your thoughts are on these upcoming bouts. I'm definitely doing a live Saturday. Like I mentioned, my plan is loosely / tentatively to break down in real time that PBC card, that PBC Showtime card, Deontay Wilder, Robert Helenius co-main event, Anthony Durrell, and Caleb Plant. And let's just have some fun. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you for your time. This is your boy JG. This has been the Punch Report. We out.